Okay, for those who were wondering what I was doing, stamping the keys, and I said that I'm cutting setup keys, there's all our stamped keys. There's some keys that I had. Yeah, my thumb wound just opened back up stamping these keys because I got to hold my stamp like that. So basically, I come in and I cut just random key bitting, bunch of different key bitting, and I copy each one so that I'll have sets ready to go. And typically, I'll do them in sets of 4, so 1 plus 3 copies. So 4 total keys. A lot of times with rental houses, they need 4 keys. We usually supply. I dropped a key. We usually supply 4 on our rental property customers because they can give the customer or the new tenant 2 keys, keep 2 keys, and if the tenant calls in the middle of the night and is locked out, the landlord or whoever owns the property can give them one of their keys and let them go take it to open the house, and that still leaves the landlord with one more spare key that they can then go get copies made to replenish their stock. A lot of times they just think, oh, I just need 2 keys and I'll give them 1. Most landlords will give 2 keys. Not saying all do, or that's some kind of rule or something, but it's just nice. Especially if it's like a 2-bedroom house and there's, husband, wife, or whatever. Some landlords only give 1, and that's where you would need to come get you a key made. Preferably to us, of course. But as you can see, we key all of our properties differently. Unfortunately, there's a few people around town that I know for a fact uses 1 key for pretty much all their rekeys, because they've come in here trying to get those keys made. Just as an example, I had a guy come in, that was a couple of years ago, and he wanted 30 keys, and he didn't identify himself. It was just some schmuck. And he handed us an old Walmart key that was like way off the bidding. It had been copied several times. And he was like, yeah, he goes, give me like 30 of those. And with Walmart or Home Depot keys, we don't guarantee them. So we told him, we were like, we don't guarantee these keys since they're copies. So he was like, oh, well, fine, I'll just go back to Walmart or wherever he went to get them and get them made there. And I need these because I'm a locksmith and I key up my houses to them. We were like, you key up your houses to it? He was like, yeah, I just need the keys to give out to people. So we were like, you key up all your houses to that 1 key. And he kind of like puffed and laughed. So, be very wary of who you call for locksmith service. We come up with these random biddings. And with any keys, there's always going to be crossovers, but for each set, there's a chart that I kind of go by that just lets me cycle through the good biddings of keys. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do one more. And then I'm going to do a couple with like 10 keys, because we do have some rekeys where they need like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I have a ring of 10 keys, and I get on the job and I grab them. This is just to save time, so I don't have to cut these keys in the vehicle. But if I grab them and I forgot to stamp this one. If I grab the key and excuse me, if I grab a set of keys and they need 6 keys, and I grab a ring of 10, they'll get the 6 keys, and I'll bring the other 4 back to the shop. And I will cut those 4 down to a different bidding. Like, change one of the cuts, like 2 to a 3 or 2 to a 4. And again, these houses aren't side by side, so the people are never gonna know. You know, if I key one house to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which I never would, that's a horrible bidding, and another house to 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is just one number off. Number one, that number keeps the key from working anyway. Number two, if this one house is owned by Joe Schmo in the north part of town, and the other one, say, is a rental house in like way south of town, like 30 miles away, these people don't know each other. It's not the same person. Number one, the key is off just enough to make it pretty much not work. And number two, this dude's not going to go find this random house and rekey, try to get in with his key. So there is a finite number of biddings that one could use while rekeying locks with Quickset. I don't know the number exactly, but it's X times X times R squared, whatever the number is, however many combinations of keys. So anyway, I got let's go down here. I got, in that time, we got, these keys will be for tomorrow's customers, all stamped, ready to go. And I'm going to take these sets of keys here and bring them over here. And ring them up and brush them with this brush. Really hard to do one-handed. So, get that. Oh, and for those curious, this is not a wire brush. If that was a wire brush, I would put it like that. This is, I believe they call it Mallock. It's a key machine style brush that we have mounted on a independent motor with a light switch to turn it on and off. Since we brush so many keys, looks like my brush is about halfway done for. How often do I go through a brush? I go through a brush every month. That's about how long it lasts. 200 to 300 keys a day. Pretty good life expectancy. And actually it lasts, this one actually, when I use this one over here, see, I've got one mounted here that I don't use. And if I come over here to this key machine, I actually have a backup one here as well, because it's pretty open compared to this. Stuck back in this hole in this key machine. Really hard to get to, really hard to brush on, especially with this lever down to turn it on. So if I bring it over to this, it's much more open. I've got much more room to maneuver. And obviously when I'm cutting keys on this machine, I just take it all and brush it. So that's a backup brush, which makes this other brush last longer if I use that one more than this one. And it's an RPM thing too. It really depends on the key. Like this Sergeant key, these are harder to brush because they're nickel silver. You'll notice that RPM, how a little bit faster that is. And then if we go back over to this one, got a little bit slower RPM on this one. So that just really depends on this. You know, if there's two of us cutting keys, we can brush at the same time. So there you have it. I can't think of anything else to go on with about keys. So hope you enjoyed watching this, and peace.